Hi, this is Bazi from Meslova. In previous session, we learned about response to various stimuli and also the structure of brain and nervous system and its division and the story of our hormones which govern us. Now we have to know about the story of insulin and also the mysterious chemical secreted in our body, that is the hormones. We already know about the story of our hormones. Now one of the interesting fact about one of the hormone which rules the life of all the people on this planet, that is insulin, which is secreting from a special type of gland, that is pancreas. Let us know about the story of the insulin. We know that in the year 1868, Paul Langerhans, professor at University of Freiburg in Germany, he discovered the patches on pancreas and later they named it as islets of Langerhans. Number of researchers and scientists doing different types of experiments on those cells, but the function is remained unknown in those days. Many other also interested in function of pancreas, and some of them are removing the pancreas from a dog and observe it. The dog develops a increasing of blood sugar level and it is nearly equal to the diabetes today. They are conducting series of experiments like tying of pancreatic duct or releasing of pancreatic duct by conducting various experiments, and they finally found that pancreatic cells, that is islets of Langerhans, secretes certain type of chemicals which controls the sugar level of the blood, and finally they called it as insula, means island, and finally they named the chemical as insulin, which is secreted from an island, that is islets of Langerhans. After 10 years in Toronto, Canada, scientist Fred Banting, Charles Beast and McLeod finally extracted insulin from the animal and they injected into a dog which has no pancreas. It makes the dog healthy and alive. This invention and extraction of insulin used in the treatment of diabetes, which controls the sugar level in the blood. In 1922, the first insulin dose was given to Leonard Thompson, the first patient who received this insulin. After that, finally, in those days, they realized that this insulin became the future therapy of diabetes. You know, according to World Health Organization, nearly 422 million population are suffering with diabetes. And 50 million people are alone in India. The pancreas is the largest gland in the human body, which secretes the insulin from the beta cells and glucagon from the alpha cells from the islets of Langerhans within the pancreas. After having a big meal, this pancreas releases insulin from the beta cells to control the blood sugar level in the body. Whereas during starving condition, this glucagon acting reversely and it gives energy to the, and it also supplies the energy to the body. Both are under balancing condition. If any imbalances occurs, it leads to condition called diabetes. Like insulin, which is secreting from one part of the body and controls the whole body. Like this insulin, number of hormones are also released in our body by various types of glands. The part that secretes the hormone is called as a gland, which releases directly into the bloodstream. That's why it is called as ductless glands, because it doesn't have any tubes or ducts to carry the hormones. These glands are also called as endocrine glands. A gland is just like any structure that makes chemicals and or secretes hormones. The hormone only can trigger a specific reaction in a specific cells, that is target cells. Human body contains number of endocrine glands which controls and coordinates various types of body movements and activities, and have a look on these glands in our body. Our glands and hormones can control our metabolic activities, and they are help in the reaching the age of adolescence and also in reproduction. They maintain the mechanisms and development of various types of metabolic activities in our body. They balances the glucose level, and they balances the body defenses, and also in managing of general body homeostasis, like balancing of nutrient level, glucose level, mineral levels within the bloodstream. Some hormones which controls other hormones, and which in turn controls still more hormones, like the master gland in our body, that is pituitary gland, which controls almost all the glands in our body. The pituitary gland, which controls and which secretes many type of hormones that controls other glands in our body, like thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, pineal gland, and thymus, adrenal gland, and also various types of glands in our body. Pituitary gland, which produces many hormones, but it is connected to hypothalamus in our brain. Hypothalamus is the part of the brain which is the connection between the nervous system and endocrine system. Here the pituitary gland is connected to the hypothalamus, and this pituitary gland is very small size shape, which is like a small P-shaped structure located in bony orbit, connected to hypothalamus by a stalk. This pituitary gland have three lobes: anterior lobe, posterior lobe, and also having a middle lobe. The anterior pituitary gland secretes various types of hormones, for which further influences other glands to secrete their own hormones. The anterior pituitary secretes the hormones like somatotropin, which is a growth hormone. Thyrotropin, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, it acts on the adrenaline gland to secrete adrenaline hormone. And gonadotropin, which releases and stimulates the sex structures. It acts on activities of ovaries and testes. Luteinizing hormone, it is in males, it stimulates testosterone from the gonads. In females, it stimulates ovulation and also secretion of progesterone in females. Follicle stimulating hormone regulates growth of structures and triggers sexual growth. In males, it stimulates spermatogenesis. In females, it stimulates growth of follicles and also estrogen and lactation during baby feeding. The middle lobe of the pituitary gland secretes one of the hormone, that is melatonin, which acts on the pigmentation of the body and also it helps in the metabolism of the body. And another part of the pituitary gland is the posterior part of the pituitary, which secretes the two hormones. One is oxytocin and another one is vasopressin, which is also called as antidiuretic hormone. You know, the oxytocin helps in the uterine contraction during childbirth and also it influences the lactation after baby birth. And another one is the vasopressin, which act as a antidiuretic hormone. It influences the reabsorption of water into our body and also it directly or indirectly effects on the kidney filtration. The another gland which is present in our body is thyroid gland, which is located in the place of neck and it is H-shaped and it is one of the largest gland in our body. It secretes hormone called as thyroxine and for secretion of this hormone it requires iodine, otherwise it may lead to various problems in our body. Thyroxine stimulates metabolism in our body and also it triggers the attachment and binding of cells and their metabolic activities. And also it balances the body temperature and moisture of the skin and also levels of oxygen, calcium and cholesterol level in the bloodstream. If it is under imbalances, it may lead to Graves' disease, or if the hormone is secreting very high level, that is hyperthyroidism, it may lead to protrusion of eyes to the outside, that is exophthalmia. The less secretion of this thyroxine hormones leads to hypothyroidism. It may develop a simple goiter under the neck region. And also it may lead to birth defects in babies in pregnant women, especially the baby with disease like cretinism. The function is basically based on the hypothalamus and then it triggers to the pituitary and pituitary triggers to the thyroid gland. Ultimately the thyroxine hormones working on the entire body. Another gland is parathyroid gland. This secretes the parathyroid hormone. This parathyroid gland is located in the backside of the thyroid gland. It is a 4 pairs of glands present on the backside of the thyroid gland. 1 pair each in the 2 lobes of the thyroid cavities. This hormone maintains the optimum level of calcium and phosphorus in our body. If the hormone is very high, it may lead to absorption of calcium and phosphorus in the blood may decrease, or it may lead to it extracts the calcium and phosphorus from the bone. It may lead to softening of the bones. If any deficiency occur in the production of this hormone, it leads to one of the condition, that is tetany, that is contraction of our muscles. Till now, we understand the story of insulin and other glands and their secretions, that is hormones, and their functions. In next session or in next discussion, we will meet and discuss other glands in our body and their secretions, that is hormones, and its functions. Until then, bye bye. Thank you. See you soon.